Neat. All right, been live for a minute now. Well, not a minute, 10, 15 seconds. If you're reviewing this video later, I'm spending some minutes just getting things working. So hopefully this works out okay. What I'd like to do actually is, yeah, let's just focus. Come on, hey, ha, nope. Now, if you're watching now or later, which you may have noticed, I am not very technically good at this. So what happens when I do this? Hey, that's slightly better. What if I add more lumens to the situation? Would that help, do you think? No, that's like way fucking worse. I'm gonna get this. And I have like 5 minutes, so stick with me here. Just hang fucking tight. Quality's not the worst, but let's just go like that, and then let's go ahead and just reset the focus a bit, and re-expose the thing. That's not going to work. Oh, that's way better. Look at that. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Okay, I think that's because we're gonna get all of my friends that are currently here. Yeah. So I'm gonna try to, without accidentally closing the stream out, I'm gonna try to just move this bad boy. Oh no! Oh no! Okay. Oh, we're it. We're good. Okay, we're good. Good. I didn't kill anything. All right. Stream actually hasn't started yet. Maybe I will find a postcard. That'll work. And then I'm gonna leave a note here. I got 4 minutes, which means I'm entitled to doing some stuff before stuff. So, if you're here right now, don't judge me too hard because I don't know, goat. No, I got stuff to do. It's been a day. I'll get to it later in 4 minutes. This is the pre stuff. This doesn't even count. You see that? Oh, I hope that's not backwards. That would be really fucked up. Oh, it's not going to focus on that whatsoever here. Maybe if I put it right here. Nope, that's not going to work. All right. We're going to do it live. And I know that Nick's going to watch this after the fact. And Squid's going to watch this after the fact. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to be judged because I did stuff unprofessionally when he was gone, and we are a team and we work for professionalism, and here I am misrepresenting the channel by, doing stuff. And I'm going to get talked at and talked to, and he's be like, I'll be like, more. But here's the deal. I like the fact that people watch my streams, not because I need the attention, because I don't. I'm not that kind of guy, generally speaking. I do the streams because I got stuff I want to say, and I think that on balance, what I have to offer is of value to other people to hear in some degree. And to be frank, it would be really cool if I could, with practice, get to the point where I get the attention of somebody who lets me say some stuff more publicly, I guess. I'm not saying I want a dick ride, but I would appreciate the exposure eventually. And I think Nick and I together work together pretty well as a team, even though I'm admittedly I talk too much. But it seems that I have successfully avoided drawing too much ire by having nobody show up yet. So this is good. This is good. It's just people who see this in the future, after they already decided that they like me, who get to see this part. And I think I got like 30 seconds left. Maybe. To be honest, I was kind of hoping that Squid would be checking out what I'm doing in his absence. But that doesn't seem to be of interest to a guy who's convalescing. Okay, so it's 6 o'clock. Time to get professional. Time to do the thing. Coming to you live from the, was it warm and sunny, upper Midwest. We are warming up some live. Today it's just me, Logus. It's gotta move my camera, sorry. February 9th, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central Standard. And unfortunately, Squid aside cannot be with us here today. Currently handling some health business stuff. So everything seems to be fine. Just needs more time to rest. And so I announced that we were doing the thing today regardless, just because impeachment stuff really started today. Opening statements, a procedural thing where they decided they want to do another vote on whether or not they felt that they were doing something constitutional in the Senate. But before we get to that, I guess I'll cover some other business real fast, just for the sake of things being fun for everybody. One of the more interesting things I saw in the news is a story from military.com, one of the periodicals that I occasionally catch my news from, and stories from. And on the 5th, they had a story about how the Space Force is trying to really hone in on what it wants the name for its individual soldier folk to be. And so uh, they decided to go with Guardians because the Space Force is going to be inherently lame, it seems. But I found the full list of things that were discarded and not all really allowed to be options. But the story mentions Wookiees, Trekkies, Homo Spacians, the anti-gravity gang, Rocket Men, and Floaty Boys as options that would have been decided to not be chosen. I saw some ones I really kind of liked that were terrible for an actual service person. Like you wouldn't want to give a talk, a motivational speech saying, well, in the Space Force, well, we found ourselves, sunspots grade 3 out on the outer rim of something. They have spacios, space ores, spacetons, spaciors, the fleet, the final frontiersmen, which is at this point outdated. We don't do that stuff that much anymore. Missioneers. Oh, what was the one I saw? One that ended in ears that I thought was really cool. Rocketeers. You have Rocketeers and Lunar Stewards, but that's not going to be good enough because Space Force is going to have to go far beyond just doing stuff with the moon in order to be relevant. So I don't think that's actually Terrence. That was one of the ones I liked. Terrence. You can have Terrence second grade, Terrence third grade, etc. And that'll be your rank in the Space Force is Terrence. Or your I guess your grade would be. Grade and rank are different for me because I was in the Army. If you're from the Air Force or the Navy, Marine Corps, even grades make more sense to you in terms of rank and grade, just because your actual job mattered a lot more. The British Army does that still, like Fusiliers, riflemen, all that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But in the Army, you more or less were just your rank, with the extreme exception. But yeah, so Space Force has picked Guardians as their official title for the people that do the job for the Space Force, whatever that is going to be. They still haven't quite decided yet. To be honest, I was actually very much hoping that the Space Force would be collapsed and removed and given back to the Air Force by our new president, but that's a really low priority, I think, at this point, despite the funding that's going into it. And honestly, there's value in the Space Force in terms of as a thing that watches space for stuff. One of my personal concerns that I have, blood wraiths, Beardemus mentions. Well, okay. I can see the value in blood wraiths. Because you're very unlikely to get in a fight with some British dude, and then he says, you're messing with a British Royal Marine, and then you'd be like, well, I'm a fucking blood wraith. And then that split second it takes for that British Royal Marine to figure out what the fuck is going on, because you just have time to either run or kick him right in the dick, which is, in a fight, but really your best two options against the Royal Marine. British Royal Marine. So anyway, they figured it out. It's Guardians. Space Force is essential. We'll talk about that more later when it's on an actual story. And that's true. If you just said you're a blood wraith, as Beardemus points out as well, that literally you'll never be confused for anything outside of a video game. So that's neat. Everyone knows that conservative media is having a bit of a dodge right now. They can't decide how much or how little they want to keep up with the QAnon conspiracy stuff. There's a little back and forth. Rudy Giuliani, my favorite story from the week, I think, was weeks. Speaking of weeks, I completely forgot to do my intro for me, because you all really care what happened in my life. This week, we did a lot of packing. We got this thing today from a local artist, and I didn't ask for permission to show this, but I'm going to show it anyways, just because it's really cool. It's a picture of the state of Wisconsin, and it's done like Lord of the... Oh, that's... Yeah, I got lots of glare on that. You can't really see it very well, but it's done with all kinds of like Lord of the Rings style stuff, and it's really, really rad. At some point, I'm going to find the artist and talk to them about perhaps showing off some more of their work, because I've always really liked everything I've seen. And I got this in trade for some stuff I didn't actually want. So yeah, that was a good deal for me, and I'm really excited about that. That's going in our new home once we get to where we're going. Yeah, I'll let you know what happens with that. That's really exciting. For those of you that are just joining us now, I don't think any of you were around when I was doing the pre-stream, which was a hot mess. But essentially, that was me gathering my drink. So here's the deal. We're going to play kind of chill today. I'm not good at this. You're not here because I'm good at anything. You're here because, I don't know, I'm loud and noisy, and I shamelessly plugged myself to all of my friends, and some of them took pity. But I will be drinking both water and RumChata back and forth over the course of this because stuff. Anyways, week. I'm going to get back to this. I'm going to get on track. I don't have Squid here to keep me reined in, so this is going to be a lot more difficult. I'm going to probably end up somewhere in Connecticut by the time I get done with conversations. Anyway, did packing, got rid of stuff, got a cool thing. That's it actually. We didn't really do much. Cold. It's really cold. I had to wear socks. I'm wearing socks. For the first time, I think since I had a job interview like a few years ago, because it's pretty chilly, and our floors are heated, but our windows are drafty to the point where there is a single cobweb right here. I'm not good at this. Over here. And it's actually like, anyway, inside, not outside. So it's cold. I'm wearing socks. I actually went through a bunch of old photos of myself, and it's extraordinarily difficult to find a photo of me with sleeves on. Even now, I don't do that game. But anywho, now, this isn't about me. This is about us, about our country. So let's get back to that. You're here because of the oh no. Impeachment stuff. So, as everyone knows, this is the only time we've had a president have successfully impeached twice. And this is the first time that we've had the same president impeached over essentially the same issue, which is a complete lack of loyalty to not just us as Americans, not just the country, but loyalty to the very concept of a constitutional democracy, representative democracy, where rule of law actually matters. And the constant pressure that this individual Donald Trump put onto our system was tremendously violent in a historically relevant way that's going to be a problem for decades. And this impeachment trial that we're having right now is extraordinarily important because, much like the first one, which more or less you could kind of chalk up to just being partisan, because the evidence was so plainly clear that there's no real other way to go about it. But for this one, it's much more important because we're talking about, according to the Constitution, according to the laws of our land, this is not a debate. This is just a thing that has to be done. According to our Constitution, according to our laws, there are a large number of officials currently serving almost entirely with the Republican Party, and who have violated the law, violated our Constitution, and are in a position where if we were able to actually enforce our own laws correctly, against the powerful elites of our own country, they would all be gone and barred from office, barred from future office, and a number of them in some form of prison for what they've done. If anyone who watches my streams or myself or anyone I actually personally know did anything even remotely close to this, they would be spending their whole time doing nothing but saying how awful we are, making sure that we end up in prison, which is exactly what they're doing to the people that they've caught. The over 200 people that went to that thing on the 6th. And yeah, it's just been crazy. So the importance of this impeachment, I think, is thoroughly juxtaposed by just how not seriously the defense is taking this. I watched the opening statements. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I did not watch every single second of the defense's argument because I already read the majority of it. And I also read the opening legal claim that they did at the beginning before today. But they didn't really have a defense other than our country needs everyone to get along. Which we'll get to that. But their other, I guess you could call it argument, was unfortunately dismissed officially on record by the Senate before they actually were allowed to talk. Before the defense counsel was allowed to talk, which was their claims against the constitutionality of the actual action of the impeachment. They probably should have asked their friends in the GOP whether or not they're going to hold a vote, completely throwing out their entire defense, like an hour before they had to talk. I know I would have wanted to know that if that I was basically going to be started off underneath the bus to begin with. And so, like, for those of you who didn't actually catch it, it really was just so much. And I'm going to use some technical jargon here. That's trade language that they use in the Senate. They spent half the time just jerking off the senators, trying to make them feel good, before trying to tell them that they needed to get together, get along, and serve our country. And what they mean by serve the country is ignore the Constitution. But not only ignore it, but also pretend like you did read it, and that you know that it says that you can't actually do this, because even though we've done this before, what's going on now, and even though the repercussions of doing this are horrendous, you just ignore that part and pretend like the whole thing is irrelevant. So they're kind of playing both sides of the same coin with that. And that's their whole argument, basically. It was long. It was droning. They decided before they even stood up to discard about a third of everything they were going to say. And they even told us why. It's because the arguments for impeachment, for the actual conviction of Donald Trump, were so strong and so well presented that they decided on the fly to make some updates to their presentation. They did such a poor job of presenting anything to be considered an argument that they even got dunked on by NPR after the fact. I'm just going to quickly go over a little bit of this. Attorney Bruce Castor opens defense of former President Trump. And Alana Wise describes it as being winding and droning. And what was the one I really saw I liked? I had it highlighted. What happened to my highlights? I am not a techno. I used to be techno guy. I'm no longer techno guy. I'll get on this, but long-winded, non-linear opening argument. and that's not editorializing. That is an exactly that is, it'd be irresponsible as journalists. It would be irresponsible for them as a journalist to describe it as anything other than that. If you watched it, it was a solid. I mean, I'm long-winded. I'm extraordinarily long-winded. It takes me an hour and a half to get to a comma, for fuck's sake. But these guys, the opening statement by the attorney, Bruce, he spent 20 minutes saying absolutely nothing of value for what they're doing there that day. If I'd have any criticisms of the, what do they call it? The people making the charges. Keep it real. The Democrats and the Republicans. So the Democrats presented the arguments clearly, concisely, with historical context, with fact, with the law, with timely presentation of details, with visual aids that weren't just their own words put in behind their head like this. The only thing I would say is that, and this is because I'm a cold, heartless guy, the only thing I would say as a criticism is there was, I would say, too much emotional appeal. And I understand that they went through an extraordinarily traumatic, dangerous, life-threatening situation where they seriously had a very good reason to expect that they were going to be murdered. I get that. We don't do law based on feelings if we're doing it right. I think it's important that they bring up those issues. I think it's important that the Senate as a whole and the country as a whole be forced to recognize that this wasn't just some dudes walking through a building stealing shit. This was people who had spent weeks talking about if given the opportunity, they're going to kill, rape, steal, hang, lynch, beat, torture these people. Everyone from the vice president to members of the Senate to members of the House. It was a lot of awful shit. There's video evidence, there's text evidence, that's what these people are there to go, and every single one of them deserves to have the strongest, most difficult punishments put upon them for what they did and what they were planning on doing. Because as we came together and I think agreed as a nation a year ago, oh god, it was only a year ago. Really, it shouldn't matter whether or not you got caught and whether or not you got away with doing something. If you show up to a house with the intention of murdering and stealing stuff, that was the crime that you were going to do, and that needs to be taken into account, especially when every single step of what you're doing is inherently illegal. So, the opening arguments were pretty, on the Democrat side, very, very strong. They came in there providing just every single fact. Like I actually have articles up here on my computer, just like tabs for days about all the different historical, legal precedents for what we're talking here. And I brought them up before I watched the entire opening statements because I thought for certain that there would be more to discuss about specific parts of their argument. But essentially, it was the Democrats presenting everything I have, and the Republicans going, nuh-uh. And Donald Trump didn't care for that very much because everyone in the whole world saw his defense basically just say, "Oh no, that's a really good argument you guys got. We got nothing." Politico reported that Trump basically spent the entire time getting really pissed off at Mar-a-Lago, which because, a real tough alpha male that guy is, he decided that his best use of his time was to not show up to defend himself, to not make an argument or make a case for the idea that he believes what he said was correct, because he believes in it so much that he has to not go there. I think had they maybe put in a little button there for some soda on the desk, they could have gotten him in. But that I think the lawyers would have objected to that on the grounds that it's never been done before. And even if they had found evidence has been done before, they would ask you to ignore that and simply think of America. Oh my gosh, that was one thing that got me. In a room with two senators who currently are under review by the rest of the Senate for, doing the same thing they're impeaching the president for, he had the chutzpah to say that every member of the House and the Senate is a true patriot first. Ted Cruz hasn't loved anything besides himself and money ever. Never. I mean, porn. He likes porn, but he's not. I'm not gonna say he's not American because that's not right. He's an American, but he's a really fucking shit American. And I don't like to do ad hominem. I don't like to attack people because, but it's fucking Ted Cruz. I don't care about Ted Cruz. He is one of the trashiest of trash people, and I wish we had that rule that people can't come into this country without stopping for an indefinite period of time in the country they were in before, so that way he'd be stuck in Canada, and then we can just Justin Bieber him out of here because he is awful. Him and oh my gosh, we lost an opportunity because Matt Gaetz, the illustrious criminal from Florida, who's also serving in Congress, he actually offered to resign his position to defend Donald Trump, and for some reason he wasn't urged to do that by the Democrats. I would love to have lived in a world where Matt Gaetz could no longer stand up and make idiotic statements in front of the people and get paid to do it by taxpayer dollars. That would have been great, but I guess that's too much to ask. But yeah, so as far as impeachment goes, it's all actually relatively simple, and they have adjourned, and they're going to come back. The date was here. I had it highlighted. Of course, I had it highlighted, and it's gone now. I did not remember dates. Today's been a day. There's been so much going on. So you get to, please bear with me when I say that I had a lot of preparation done. I didn't get all the preparation done I needed to, and I had some technological aids done. That apparently have all disappeared. So, yeah. So that is basically all I have for impeachment, unless there's questions from the stream, because they really just did opening statements, and it was Democrats on fire and Republicans being lit on fire by Democrats. I did see some interest. While I'm waiting for some questions, I will mention some interesting things I learned about impeachment today, and that is drunkenness was not an uncommon reason to be impeached in this country. It turns out that a lot of people do alcohol when they're in power. The one thing, okay, so the Democrats did do one thing that I take issue with in terms of bringing up impeachment, is that they, and this is, the Republicans pointed it out too, that they did mention some pre-revolutionary law that was instrumental in the formation and in the construction of the impeachment policy, but the Republicans didn't care. They don't like that. I agree, not technically the most solid thing to build a defense on or an argument on, just because. Okay, so I'm not a lawyer. My study of law, formal study of law, is limited, and mostly to constitutional law and principles. But when I studied constitutional law, we went over how a lot of the rulings early on, because there wasn't a backlog of case law, they did a lot of work using British common law or uh, cases that they had tried before there was in America to try cases in. Um, so that the idea of bringing in British law is historically relevant, and it is there is a precedence for using British law and British rulings in American law due to the absence of existing precedents. But because precedence is the cornerstone, that is the functional organ, I would say, the metabolism of law is building a body of precedents and using that to explain how law is understood and exercised in our country. So they did a little bit of that. And let's not get wrong. Let's not get twisted on that. I will say that even though I have a slight problem with the emotionality, I have a slight problem with the bringing of the British thing. I mean, at best, that's a not point on the scoreboard. The Democrats lost 0 points. They went in there and it was just fucking 3-pointers the whole time. Just 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. And then, like, once in a while, it'd be like 2. It was pretty ridiculous. I mean, that's my basketball metaphor. I don't play basketball. That's the best I got. I'd say 90% of my basketball knowledge is based on Space Jam, and NBA Jam. Which, if that's not accurate, I need someone to let me know, because I've been saying things wrong my whole time, my whole life. I don't suppose anybody currently in the chat has ever played NBA Jam or has a copy of it, because I've actually had a hankering to bust out some NBA Jam, and I don't have anyone to play it with. So if you either have NBA Jam or have played NBA Jam, just drop something in the chat real quick. And if you're catching this in the future, back when at the time when most people actually watched the stream, just feel good about whether or not you've played NBA Jam or not, because it was a pretty good game. Impeachment. So, what was the other thing I saw that was really good? That's not it. Oh, procedurally, one thing I found out that was interesting is that there's never really been any actually formal structure created for impeachment. It's all just a bunch of traditions, essentially. So, the constitutional guidance there's constitutional guidance on impeachment, but it's extraordinarily limited and vague. There are things that it's very, very specific on, but those are, binary, this or that. No, Music Maker. Yeah, NBA Jam did happen. I simply just asked if people had played it, because I was using NBA Jam as a metaphor to explain how the Democrats were doing in building their argument. That's what that's about. That's what you missed if you walked away. So yeah, there's no formal structure. So I think what we need to do as a country is since we're seeing impeachment actually as a thing that might come in handy nowadays. There actually hasn't been that many impeachments in the last 50 years, to be honest. But since it's there, I think it would be good in the future to actually, on paper, have at least a napkin sketch of actually formally adopted law and how it's done. For such an important, as the only bulwark against tyranny at a presidential executive level, perhaps as a country, we need to sit down and have that chat. Just a thought. Well, since I don't have any back and forth banter, and the topic I had picked for today was relatively simple, that is all I have for today's official part of the stream. So for the rest of it's going to be Q&A and AMA for anybody who is here. So I'm going to give it a couple seconds here and see if anybody has anything to say. And if not, then we'll have a good night, I guess, and then keep it short. Everyone that's here normally is gone. So like I got nothing to do. So I have all my time right now to give to you people. And unfortunately, like I said, Squid's gone, so he can't even pester me with interesting stuff. Beardamus is fighting zombies. Is that a metaphor, or is that or are you like playing Left 4 Dead? Sorry, it looks like I'm acting really weird, but what it is that the only place that my camera really kind of works is directly in the center of my everything, and I got two screens going, and unfortunately, the camera I'm using right now is my phone, and it's just a huge piece of electronic material. So I had to kind of look around it to see the various function buttons because on these things that they give you, it's everything's on the outside. Yeah, hold on. No, that's not it. Yeah. Okay. Well, since nobody has anything, we're going to go ahead and call the stream short for today. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move on over to the Discord for our official evening chat / question time where we debate the real spicy stuff. I'm going to drop in the link for people. So anybody who is catching the end of the stream can check it out. Oops. My God. No limit. There we go. Oh yeah, hold on. I have news from this week that's really amazing. Excuse me. That's phenomenal. So, back when I was a kidling, I went to this summer camp here in town, which is actually what brought me here to begin with. Anyways, so I went to a camp here, and this was back before the war. Back in '0, turn of the century stuff. So 2000, from 97 through 2004. I went to the summer camp for people that want to learn stuff. Basic gist of the story is that you go there to a university for 3 weeks, and instructors teach you an entire AP high school course or an entire college course in 3 weeks. It's 8 hours a day, a classroom, 5 days a week, lots of cool stuff on the weekends. Anyway, I met some really cool people there. We did a lot of fun stuff. But one thing that happened was that a friend of mine, for some reason, gave me this disc, which is extraordinarily unhelpfully labeled. I don't think you can see that because glare, and I'm bad at this. But it's a CD. All it says is Nightlife with a space in there. Dance mix. Ooh, focus. Oh, that's not good. Oh, there's no good place to put this thing. Nope. Okay. So anyway, I've been looking for the CD forever because he gave it to me back in the day, and I don't remember when. And he's like, "Oh, we've got some really cool jams on it. It's a bunch of techno dance music type stuff from some time before." He gave it to me in the year 2000. And when I took it with me to college, I got a job doing stockroom stuff. And in the stockroom, holy moly, there's another person who showed up after the show's technically over. I don't know who you are, but hi. Unfortunately, you missed the really cool stuff about impeachment. So now I'm talking about me. So hopefully you're interested in turn of the century techno stories, because that's what you're getting. Oh, hey, I know who this person is. So anyways, yeah, so turn of the century techno story. So I got that CD from a friend who gave it to me. I went to school, got a job running the stock room after and before operational hours for the actual place. and I had a Walkman, a Discman technically, um, by Sony, and I just threw this on the CD on, and so my every morning, I would wake up, walk over to the grill, open up the storeroom for the deliveries, and then pack the storeroom. And the whole time I just jammed out to the CD every morning for like a solid 9 months. And I did this for 2 years in a row. So I had the CD that just, it's playing in the back of my head, deep in the corner, like way back here. If you're into music, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, but it's got a bunch of songs I don't even know how to explain to you just how obscure a lot of these songs are. And I lost the disc for 9 years. Um, and the thing is, I had a hard time finding it because I can only remember certain lyrics in it, because nowadays you can just search by a lyric and I'll give you a song and then you can find a guy. So after finding the disc again in a pile of discs as I'm packing to move, what I discover is there are some reasons why I wasn't able to find it. First being that it's clearly made in Poland, um, by a guy who has no internet presence whatsoever, because the disc was made in 1994, back when the Fresh Prince was still fresh and his sexism was still funny. So this music is very old, and it aged. I would say for most people, the music aged like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air aged, not very well. If you haven't watched the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air recently, uh, give the first season a quick look through. Fun fact about that show: if you aren't familiar, this is a problem I have, is I'm very familiar with little trivia nonsense. But so Jazz, um, Jazzy Jeff, uh, he got actually thrown out the front door. So if you're familiar, whenever he pisses off Uncle Phil, throws him out the door, right? Uh, you can tell when he's going to be thrown out of the door because they only have one cut, of him getting thrown out the door. And so every time he's about to be thrown out the door, he comes into the scene wearing that exact same shirt, and they had to hold on to that shirt and keep it in the corner in one of the closets on set, so he could put it on for that scene, so he get thrown out the door and then take it off, put it back in the closet. So that's a fun fact. Oh, also another fun fact: the actor who did Uncle Phil also was doing the voice for the Shredder in the Ninja Turtles cartoon at the exact same time. That is an important fun fact. So back to the CD. So I have the CD now. My roommate did me a favor, and because my computer doesn't actually have a CD drive in it right now, because they got me the audio files for it. And the coolest thing ever in my entire life happened when well, not ever, but anyways, turns out that the audio tracks are labeled it's actually a mixed CD of a bunch of people's songs. It's 40 tracks long, and it's cut together. It's a mix tape essentially, done by a professional. And the name of each track actually is the artist name and the name of the actual track. So what I'm actually going to be able to do here coming up, now that I'm learning how to do sound editing, is I'm going to find files. I'm going to find all of these songs and download them, and then put them all in one big one, where I take the full length version of each song and make one gigantic song out of it. And I'm pretty excited by that, because this horrendously aged music will come with me forever. And certainly, if you live with me in the future or hang out with me in the future, which a good portion of the people currently on the stream definitely will at some point spend more time with me in person once the Rona is dead, or under control, I will inevitably attack you with this music, because that is the kind of jerk that I am. Okay. Did I post? I did not post the thing yet, because I got onto a CD thing. Yeah. So that is the Discord link for the Discord chat. For anybody who's not actually joined on there, what we usually do is after the actual live stream, we jump on over to the Lauren Ripsum live Discord, and we usually talk for at least another hour or two. Stuff that happens in the news, more technical stuff, all the really saucy stuff we can't have recorded for reasons. Basic nonsense. So unless I see anything else that reminds me of something I should say to you people that I think needs to be recorded for reasons I can't explain, I think we're going to call that here for the day and have a short stream like we talked about earlier. Twice now, actually. All right. Well, and that's it. I'm gonna call it there. So, 50 minutes of streaming, 10 of which was me just messing around. But I want to say thank you to the people who showed up. I want to say thank you to people who check this out later. I want to apologize to Squidicide for everything I'm doing to the channel in his absence. And I hope that everyone who wants to just hang out and do stuff will join me in the Discord. Whether or not you catch the stream today, I can guarantee you that we are still doing Discord stuff whenever you watch this. So check us out. We're on Facebook. We're on Discord. We're here on YouTube. Some quick announcements. We decided to move to regular, like, weekly news. I should probably have done this like at the beginning of the video, but I'm glad I didn't because I have more people now than I did back then. We're gonna be moving to like a weekly thing where we just talk about the week stuff, and we'll do our more formal shows not live and post those up later. Also, now that I have a camera, a few extra minutes a day, and I'm starting to understand video editing, I'll be putting together some videos. We have some other videos we want to do that will not be live that people can come and check out later. And I will be putting out edited versions of all the streams at some point. No promises on when that's going to happen, to be honest, but that is the goal. So we're going to have more videos coming. Also, there's a debate about me hosting a morning show 3 times a week called Lights and Leaves, where I try to coerce people into waking up in the morning and getting some UV light, either by spending some time by a window or outside or with a sad lamp. And we just sort of hang out in the morning together and keep each other honest about how much we stay on schedule to kind of rebuild regular human behavior again. Catch some tea or some coffee, wake up, hang out, read the morning news, that kind of stuff. Still working on the details on whether or not that's going to be a thing. If you have any interest and you want to contact me personally for it, you know how. If you don't, you won't. Yeah, so that's it. I'm going to cut it off now. Wisconsin Goodbye is gone. Have a good night. Thank you for coming. See you next week. Squid aside will be back and will keep us doing the job that we're supposed to be doing next week. I probably. Good night.